Alright, legends, welcome along to a new vlog. Swift, quick little one today with just a little bit of a question that I've had hanging over my head for a couple of weeks now. And I was always told that you should never make a YouTube video when you're angry. So I took a bit of time, took a week or so to myself, put up a couple of shorts and here and there, retro sort of videos, just to fill in the space a little bit, but not uploading to the extent it was. I collected my thoughts ever so slightly and then come back to this with a fresh set of eyes. So if you have been watching the channel, you'll have seen a few weeks back that I was not so much criticised, but warned that my actions in a religious sense weren't good because of a comparison I made of myself in a weight loss situation where I compared myself to Hugh Jackman, essentially. So if you don't know what brought it all about, I put up a post that said I had the Wolverine jacket on from X-Men Origins Wolverine and the claws on, and I made a post on social media that simply said I have the jacket, I have the claws, all I need now is the body. So a weight loss post essentially, and got this message that I'm basically corrupt. So it got me thinking. I want to take you back to something that happened in the late 80s, early 90s. I believe that was about the time frame. Let's just say 88, 89, thereabouts. At that point, I hadn't even had high school yet. And back in the day, my generation, we grew up with home video. And in the 80s, there was a thing known as video nasties. So if you don't know what video nasties is, I've looked up just basically what it says on the internet about it. I lived through it, so I know the score. So video nasty is a colloquial term popularised by National Viewers and Listeners Association in the United Kingdom to refer to a number of videos, typically low budget horror or exploitation movies, distributed on video cassette that were criticised for their violent content by the press, social commentators, various religious organisations in the early 1980s. These video releases were not brought before the British Board of Film Clarification due to a loophole in the film clarification laws that allowed videos to bypass the review process. The resulting uncensored video released led to public debate concerning the availability of these films to children due to the unregulated nature of the market. Now, these videos and movies and whatnot covered just about everything. Like there was stuff out in the 80s on home video that, yes, was above and beyond, what should have been like an 18 certificate at the time. And there is good blood behind what these people were doing, but it covered absolutely everything when it came to horror as well. Nightmare on Elm Street, The Omen, just about everything that was in that genre at that time. Even though it had gone through the review process, got its 18 rating and whatnot, was released properly, in the eyes of the public, was still video nasty. So I remember in the 1989, 1990, I think 1990 was the year I actually started high school. It was in around that time. There was always a kid in school that had access to all this sort of weird stuff, and a copy of The Exorcist showed up at one point with this kid, and he started loaning it to his friends and whatnot. And at that stage, even now these days, like I've got a horror podcast on the go, I'm not a big fan of horror. Haven't really ever been. It's never my first choice. I'm sitting down to watch something. When it comes to indie film creation, and in all fairness, a horror style short film is very easy to create, but it was never my first go-to. And as a child, I had absolutely no interest in it whatsoever. But my friend's circle did. This guy turned up. The cassette was doing the rounds and whatnot. The furthest I dug into it was having a look at the cover of it, So, The Exorcist. So, eventually, one of these kids' parents busted him with the tape, and we all got hauled over the coals for it. And I'm trying to recall which of the two it was. It was either The Exorcist or The Omen. There was rumours that if you had a copy of the cassette came with its own resident demon within the cassette. And when we were hauled over the coals for it by these people, the parents and whatnot, the religious leader at the time was involved in the whole thing as well. We all got trailed and eaten alive. Like, these people were not happy. We were all pretty much condemned as just bad people, and we were opening ourselves up to this, that, and the other. Yes, and the even myself, even though I hadn't watched the movie, had no intention of watching the movie, I was guilty by association, and we were all just branded with the one thing. And these guys weren't happy. Like, literally, it's not like today. It's not like a kid does something that a parent doesn't like. They're putting the naughty step for a while. Like, we were getting full blown screamed at, the whole 9 yards. And yes, and ironically, one of the people that had said this to us as kids was actually the same guy that came at me about the Wolverine claws not that long ago. But I started to think, it's just a question I have in my mind right now. Where is the goalpost at in this scenario? Because if they have, back in the 80s, VHS, home video, if what they were saying was true about a horror movie being on a cassette, having its own resonant evil, let's just say, and just simply having it, not even watching it. Let me remind you this, I didn't watch it, no intention of watching it, but because I was guilty by association, I had got hold of the cassette, I had looked at the cover and whatnot, I had opened myself up to goodness knows what. So my question is, right now, where is the goalposts when it comes to that sort of thing? Because if I was guilty by association of just having the cassette, does that not mean right now, today with the internet and streaming services and whatnot, are people not guilty by association by just owning a smartphone or a computer or tablet hooked up to the internet? Genuine question. Like, I'm not trying to start any nonsense with any of these people that have problems, that sort of thing. I'm genuinely curious of where the goalposts are at now when it comes to that, because, again, guilty by association. Are these people now, religious leaders and people like that on the internet, are they not guilty by association by just owning a smartphone, computer, internet connection? Just a little thought I had in my mind. And, people would say, their argument at that point was, well, we have a smartphone, we are connected to the internet, but we have the option whether to watch something, ingest something, or not watch and ingest something. But my argument to that would be, back in the 80s, the VHS was there, I didn't watch it, didn't have any intention of watching it, but I was still guilty by association, tarred with the same brush as the rest of these guys. And yeah, that's just a weird process. Like, the world has changed quite a bit, but I think it makes sense. Whenever you take that same line of thinking, bring it to the present day, it's precisely the same thing. And I could take anybody's smartphone at this point and ask him to borrow it. And within 2 minutes, I could literally pull up a copy of The Omen or The Exorcist or any horror movie, hit the play button on it, and hand it back to them and say, look, there is your proof. Genuinely confused at this point. If you want my honest opinion, when it comes to this scenario, if that in the 80s was true, then I think these guys that are on the internet giving you crap for something stupid like a set of Wolverine claws and a weight loss post, they're hypocrites if they're on the internet, because that's all, in my mind at this point, that's all one and the same. So let me know in the comments below what you think, and hopefully I've done this in a quiet and composed manner. If I tried to record this video about a week and a half ago, like, this question has been playing in my mind since this happened, and not gonna lie, for a few days there I was absolutely livid with the whole situation, because my relationship with the big man upstairs is no one's business but my own, and I know where I stand at. But yeah, so let me know your opinion on this whole thing here. If the people that believe in the video nasties and are on the internet right now potentially have access, let me know, are they guilty by association the same way I was as a kid? Right, that's going to do it for this video. Stay safe, and I'll talk to you in the next one.